Can I not turn it on? Like I haven't gotten on.
It would be better. I think it would be better if you did. I don't want to make you uncomfortable or force you to do something that you don't want to do, but I think that it would help us if you could, maybe take a few minutes and just try to get yourself together. Just because this is formally going to be as is.
We could barely hear you, Cox.
Oh, I we want to try to not force you. We don't want to force you to do something you're uncomfortable with, but it would help us out in terms of looking professional if you turn it on. Miss Thomas, Marcus, cameras. Marcus, you hear me?
Yeah, I'm about to turn my camera.
Okay. Miss Thomas,
I heard you.
all right. Cameras on. Miss Thomas, Marcus, and Pierre Lynn. Miss Theodore.
I haven't even brushed my teeth. Like I'm really uncomfortable showing myself.
All right, let's focus on Miss Thomas and Mr. Marcus for now. And do you guys know who's going to ask Mr. Lucky what?
Nah, not yet, but I'll come up with some questions.
Pierre Lynn and Miss Thomas. You guys have the questions together.
Did you send it or were we supposed to make a few of our own? Because I made a few of my own.
No, I didn't send them. I thought we made the list prior.
Oh,
But let's go with what we have and get started because Mr.
okay.
Lucky time is valuable and we'll kind of round robin. All right, so let's start with one question. Pierre Lynn, you can start with a question asked to Mr. Lucky and we'll round robin just to get this thing going.
Alright. Do you think that we have a drug and alcohol problem in Plainfield?
So we're ready to start.
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
start. And then Pierre Lynn,
Okay.
just change that question. Not change it, but you could add in the Plainfield community and in the Plainfield school community just to provide some
Alright.
context.
Alright. Do you think that we have a drug and alcohol problem in the Plainfield school community?
Okay, and that came from Rakia
From Sherilyn.
Parolin.
Yeah.
Hey, okay. Um, that's an every question that you're going to ask me, I'm going to say the same thing. That's an interesting question. That's a provocative question. Those are great questions, and that's included. All right. Um, do we have a drug problem in Plainfield? Be slow to listen now. Yes, we do. But here's the thing. We have a drug problem in the United States. The drug problem is in New Jersey. And guess what? The drug problem is in Union County, in every county. And guess what? Plainfield happens to be in Union County, in New Jersey, in the United States. So we are not excluded from this uh, uh, problem this long term problem that our country has faced for so many years. Does Plainfield um, is Plainfield affected more by our problem? I don't know. You know, we don't have there are no recent or current statistics that show that Plainfield's drug cases are any higher than other places, other counties. Um, but I guess I want folks to know by the answer that I'm providing is that it must be taken seriously, regardless of if I tell you that we have a drug problem or we don't have a drug problem or somebody else has equal drug problem that as we do, Plainfield's problem must be taken seriously. So I'll end on that note. Yes, we do. Yes, it must be taken seriously.
All right, thank you.
Let me clarify one thing that you guys might want to edit.
Mr. Lucky, I don't know if you can hear me, but you froze. You come back in.
Alcohol is a drug, so it's not. It's not. Help me, English folks. It's not correct. It's not a correct use of terms if we say alcohol and drugs. You can say alcohol / drugs. That's why they formatted alcohol, or you might see something that says tobacco and other drugs. Tobacco and other drugs. So you might want to say alcohol and other drugs, drug abuse, but let's not confuse people, and let's educate people to know that alcohol is a drug. All right. All right. Next question.
Ms. Thomas, did you have a question?
How do you think we can solve this problem?
Let me turn my speaker up a little bit. Can you repeat your question?
How do you think we can solve this problem, or like make it a little better?
I think awareness goes a long way. I think when folks are in denial of any kind of problem, it makes it hard to even start providing solutions, start to do anything to rectify a problem when we don't admit that it's a problem in the first place. So I think, just by getting folks to recognize that the problem exists, that we do have a problem, admitting that's the first step. Admitting that we have a problem will go a long way, and will open up some doors for our understanding and for the changes in our own behavior. I think education is going to be extremely important. If you've been in any of the classes that I've come into, that's kind of like my main theme. To come in, one of my main purposes to come in and teach.
We lost you again, Mr. Lucky. Been froze for a while.
No parent wants their child to suffer with an addiction, to suffer at the hands of a drug, right? So what we do, and what we've done is just say, don't even do drugs. As a matter of fact, all drugs are bad. And that's kind of how we've created and developed our message to kids. Just say no. You've all heard of that. You all heard of that saying, that slogan, just say no. Well, that's where that thing came from, because we were so scared. Parents were so scared. Schools were so scared that kids would continue or would pick up these drugs and become addicted, and their lives will be cut short. So we just said, just say no. Well, that doesn't work, because that doesn't represent the truth. See, the truth is there are good drugs. I'm just going to kind of put it how it, say it how it is. When you go to the hospital, when you go to the doctor, and something is wrong with you, like you have a flu or a cold or something like that, the doctor provides or prescribes for you a drug. He or she provides medicine to you. So you go to the pharmacy, you get that prescription filled, and you take drugs. You use drugs. So it remains a sharp contradiction if we're saying, just say no, don't do drugs, and then we take you to the doctor and you do drugs. You take drugs. No, see, we have to provide the realistic understanding that it's not the drug, it's the person, it's our society that has misused drugs. And that's why I like your presentation. I like your research. It says the abuse, right? It doesn't say that alcohol as a drug and other drugs are exactly the problem, but the problem is our misuse, our abuse, which develops into addictions, which creates other societal problems, right? So those couple of things will get the ball moving. The first one is to the awareness, to shed the denial that we have a problem in the first place, or that there is a problem in the first place, and then the opening and continued education.
Marcus.
What do you do in Plainfield High School?
I am I'm the student assistance coordinator, and so I coordinate the student assistance program, and I'm going to try to kind of sum that up for you real quick. There were and I spoke to the staff a little while ago, and I explained, the student assistance program, what I did. And most of the staff are familiar. Most of your parents will be familiar with something that's called the Employee Assistance Program. Jobs provide those services to a lot of their employees. If there's something going on, if you need counseling for anything, if there is a tragedy in your family, if there is a kind of like a breach or something, issues in your marriage, if there are mental health issues that any employee of an establishment is dealing with, they have the Employee Assistance Program to go to. It's free of charge. It's strictly confidential, meaning that nobody's boss or nobody's coworker is going to find out about their services that they're reaching out to. So we have, again, a place, a confidential place to go to if we need somebody to talk to. If we need some advice, if we need some consultation, if we have some issues that we're just wrestling with, whether they be social, emotional, psychological issues that we just need some help to work out, we have somewhere to go, free of charge, strictly confidential. Well, the state said, you know what, we should afford the same thing to students. They were looking at substance abuse, right? They were looking at substance abuse, and they realized, the state realized that substance abuse was a little more was a little deeper than just kids defying what we're telling them not to do. You know, it was a little deeper, that there was an issue of dependency / addiction in this problem. So the state says, let's create the same thing for students, and we'll call it the Student Assistance Program instead of the Employee Assistance Program for employees of different establishments, blah, blah, blah. We'll create the Student Assistance Program, and it will be for all students, and it'll do the same thing. So I sit on a program that has been established for you, that in confidence you can come to me with any issues regarding relationships with your family, any family situations, any relationships with your peers, if there are any issues, social, emotional, psychological issues that are getting in the way, that are beginning to be barriers towards your academic success here at Plainfield. All right. If there are any issues like that, then you come to me. Then you come to the seek refuge. I like that. Seek refuge at the Student Assistance Program with me as a Student Assistance Coordinator to help you work through some of those issues to free you up so you can do the best that you can do here at school. So there is an emphasis. Well, I shouldn't say emphasis. There is, I'll say emphasis, but emphasis is not the word that I'm looking for here. But there's an emphasis on substance abuse, right? There's a big area that's created for the addressing of substance abuse, but it covers so much more. Again, those social, emotional, psychological issues that might just get in the way. All right.
Ms. Thomas,
Yes.
the question.
Do you think rehab works?
Repeat that one more time.
Do you think rehab works?
Well, I think we have, and I missed that last word.
Like works
Like works.
Yes.
Works. Do I think
Rehabilitation centers, do they work? People who go through rehab, does that work for them? Sorry.
Do I think rehab works?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I do. And here's the misunderstanding of rehabilitation center or treatment center. With so many things, as in so many other things, we fail, right? So when folks go through treatment, oftentimes it fails. Now let me clarify that. Someone goes into treatment, and we're going to talk a little bit more in a second about what actually happens in treatment. And they come out of treatment, right? And they come out of treatment, and they relapse. So folks consider, and I think it's in your question that when that relapse is equal to a failure. Therefore, people ask the same question: do I think treatment works? Do I think rehab works? Absolutely, because there is going to be failure, and so we continue with these efforts to bring a person, to make a person open and aware about their own stuff, about their own use, about their own addiction, right? And we begin this process of not using or limiting the use that messed us up in the first place. And sometimes folks relapse, but that's a great opportunity. And I think that this is what I'm trying to get at. I'm struggling to get there, but failure presents a great opportunity to re-examine, to go deeper into our stuff, to go deeper into our addiction, right? And come out thriving even better. Thriving even better. So do I think that the rehab works? Absolutely. Absolutely. It's just you got to understand you got to have the right perspective of the word works. Hope I answered that question.
Marcus.
We could talk a lot more about
Marcus, go ahead.
What type of challenges have you seen? Mostly like working with students.
Woo! You guys got some hard questions. Okay.
Okay, Marcus, could you clarify, like when you say challenges, like just give them some examples, like what are you referring to?
Death, homelessness, and dropouts.
Okay. Ah, man, you made it you made it even harder. I've seen it all. Right? I've seen it all. And the challenge for me, the challenge for me is my own powerlessness. It's when I realize, right, despite resources, despite knowledge and awareness of situations, despite experience, that I'm still powerless to change somebody's circumstance. Whew, dang. So that becomes challenging, and to go a step further, the same kind of challenge is picked up with the student, because quite often the student is also powerless, or should I say maybe powerless over a circumstance. Talk about homelessness. All right, use that one as an example. Student, I can say, oh man, I can say 10 times out of 10 doesn't control that. A student's a student. You're not working. You can't go out and get a mortgage for a house or rent, or that some students have, right? But that's an example of circumstances, and I'm feeling this one. There are circumstances. Those are circumstances that a student can't really control. So a student is powerless, and that is so challenging. That is so challenging. So we work a lot on resiliency, right? Making in spite of some bad stuff. You know, finding some positives, right? Some positive footing to create more opportunity for change down the road. Even down to get down the road, change down and down the road. That's the challenging part. That when you hit, you know, we in counseling and programming, consultation, blah blah blah, et cetera, we try our best to hook up, and that's a part of our jobs, to hook up with as many people, and we call that networking, to network with as many people, as many resources, people that can help us, people that can provide for us, knowing where I can get some, where we can get some housing from, knowing where we can get some to pay rent, maybe, knowing where we can get someone to pay for school, or knowing where we can get some food from. Just knowing where we can get different types of services to help folks is very, very important. But after you've done all that, right, and you're still faced with circumstance, it can be challenging. It can be quite challenging. All right, so really the powerlessness, dealing with that powerlessness, you know, is quite challenging. Good question.
Pierre Lynn, next question.
Have you ever seen a student recover from drug and alcohol abuse challenges?
Yes. Oh, you perked me up with that one. You perked me up. Yes. I've seen students, right? I've seen students. Oh man, you got me like recollecting. I'm going back in time. I've had students, right, who struggled. I'm talking about like struggle. We spent time, you know, getting students, you know, into treatment, and then keeping them in treatment. Then they would come out and getting them in, just in and out of treatment, and relapse, and then back on the clean kick, and just battling, and all the other social stuff that goes along with it, all the family conflicts that go along with it. But we stayed in, we hung in there, and the parents would not quit. And for that, the students would not quit, just would not quit. And it's just a beauty when to see those same students, those same kids, I was about to call them kids, those same my kids, those same kids, like years after, right? Years after, and they come and say, "Mr. Lucky, thank you. You know, thank you. Give me a rundown. Yes, I've been clean for XXX years. And here's where I am, blah, blah, blah. And here's my new family." And start to share stories, and even desire to come back and talk to students about where they've been. Oh, all right. Here's the deep one. And I don't know if I'm going to get off track with this one, but somewhere in my head, it's aligned with your question, right? It's a little deep, and it's a little it's just a little deep, but again, I'm being redundant. Somewhere in this story, you're going to pick up where I want to go. So real quick, I had a student right? I had a student. This is kind of tragic, but you know, I had a student who who suffered like serious addiction, right? And just like I was telling you before, it's the in treatment, out of treatment. And we're working hard with his mother, with the student's mother, to keep him on track, to get him on track. He just wasn't doing well. Just wasn't doing well. Well, that student, right? That student killed his mother. Right? The student killed his mother. I told you, you're gonna look at me like, Mr. Lucky, you're crazy. You're going a little bit too deep. Well, that student killed his mother, right? And everyone knew that it was in the depths of his addiction. We knew that he was just out there, and his addiction had a lot to do with his relationship with drugs. The drugs, the chemicals that he put into his mind and his heart and the rest of his body had a lot to do with his actions, right? So he's locked up, right? He's locked up. I don't even know what, at the time I didn't even know what happened to him. So I do this ministry, right? I work with the ministry that goes into prisons, right? Specifically Rahway, East Jersey State Correctional Facility. So I'm in there and I'm preaching, right? I'm preaching to the brothers of the church, and they're inmates, right? They're inmates. And you know, it's great. And afterwards, I see a lot. Unfortunately, I see a lot of the faces. I see some familiar faces. You know, I've been working for a while. I see some familiar faces, and it's like almost a homecoming. Greeting, hey, how you doing? Oh, thank you for your message. Blah blah blah. Thank you for your message. And in that line was a young man who I didn't recognize. I didn't recognize him. And he said, thank you, just like everybody else. He thanked me, blah, blah, blah. He's like, is your name Mr. Lucky? I said, yeah. He said, from, you know, whatever school? I said, yeah. He said, you were my counselor. What? He said, yeah. And he told me his first name. No, he might have told me his last name, and I didn't pick it up. And then he told me his first name, and I was like, and I grabbed his face. We're right there. This is among everybody. And I grabbed his cheeks, and I just squished his cheeks. I was like, oh my God, look at you. I couldn't recognize him because that whole time while he was in school, he was just strongly under the influence of those drugs. And so he was just his look. And so now in prison, he's cleaned up, haircut, just clean. And so we catch up, and I find out where he is, clean, sober, in a different mind, with a totally different spirit. I'm not going to get into the religious part of it, but really, really in another spirit. So did it work? Is he clean now? Yeah. Is he doing better with the drugs? Yeah. Does he have a whole bunch of other circumstances? Yeah. But just to take that element, I know it's hard for you guys to get with. He killed his mother. but still in terms of his spirit. Oh, don't let me start preaching. In terms of his spirit, in terms of the use of drugs no longer controlling his spirit, that was gone. That's what I saw. That's what I felt. So even that, I just wanted to share that story with you. I know you think I'm crazy, but I just had to share that story.
Marcus, this will be the last. They're coming up close to closure. This will be the last question. Marcus, you wanna go ahead?
Do you ever deal with this job or take the job home?
Woo! Man, you guys gotta go ahead with these questions. So, oh wow, these questions are giving me chills. They're giving me goosebumps. That's how good they are. I've been doing this for a minute, right? I've been doing it for a minute, and somehow I've developed this knack to. Now, I want to start with the other way. Do I take things home? Absolutely. I carry this. I carry your stuff. I'm gonna say your stuff, students, your peers. I carry stuff with me, like all the time. I carry it throughout the week, at nighttime, in the evening. Thoughts will just come up. I'll be thinking about a student case. I'll be thinking about a student circumstance, right? But fortunately, for my own spirit, I've been able to, over the years, I don't know how I've done this, I've been able to keep them separate, to disassociate when I need to. But you guys are always in my thoughts. You're always, you can't get away. As soon as I walk in these doors, no, you stay with me. But I just, for my own mental well-being, I've been able to do that, so it doesn't beat me up. But yeah, I take you guys home with me. You live with me over the weekends. When I go to North Carolina or whatever, I'm thinking about you. So I can't get away from it.
Thank you for taking the time out to speak with the kids, Mr. Lucky. I want to let everyone on the call on a little secret. Mr. Lucky has helped me, not specifically with that stuff, but he was a mentor of mine, continues to be a mentor of mine. He mentored me throughout high school, and continues to be someone that I could reach out for help. He's one of the main reasons why I went to college, and one of the main reasons why I became a member of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. So just wanted to publicly thank him for the work that he did for me when I was a teenager. And then thank you guys for participating and asking him these questions to enhance your project.
Thank you.
All right. I recorded the session, so I'll chop it up and we'll use the pieces that